Hello, all, and welcome to another review for this week. Today is Friday, October 16th, 2020, and this week I thought I'd do a review of a new whiskey I've picked up. This one is Japanese whiskey, Hibiki Harmony, and this is created by the Suntory distilleries in Japan. Starting off with a little bit of history about Suntory. Suntory was started by Japanese businessman Shinjiro Tori in 1899, and he thought that because Japan was importing all of these alcoholic beverages from other countries, he thought it would be a good idea to have a more original Japanese offering to give to the Japanese people instead of having to import everything. So he started off with a winery creating Japanese wines, and that took off quite well. In 1923, he decided to branch off into whiskeys after seeing what Scotland was doing with their Scotch whiskeys and how Japanese people really enjoyed them. He decided to create a Japanese whiskey that was melded by the climate of Japan and more tailored to Japanese palates. So he opened up the Yamazaki distillery in Japan in 1923, and they would start putting out their first Japanese whiskeys in 1929. Later on, Suntory would branch out into other alcoholic beverages such as beer, but they would continue to put out new whiskey distilleries. They have the Hakushu distillery as well as the Chita distillery in Japan, and all of those are included in this Hibiki Harmony release. Today, Suntory is part of Beam Suntory, which is a huge beverage conglomerate, a lot like Diageo, which is another giant alcoholic beverage company out of the UK, I believe. And Suntory Beam has other brands such as Effin Vodka, Maker's Mark, Jim Beam Whiskey, as well as other whiskeys from around the world. So they've really done a great job of growing the company to become this huge conglomerate. But if you'd like to learn more, I'll have the link to Suntory's website linked down below. A little bit about Japanese whiskey. It's really taken off in popularity over the past, decade or so, to the point where it's actually really difficult to get a hold of certain Japanese whiskeys, and they've had to start making some concessions around age statements and stuff like that, and even making it more difficult to get a hold of. So this Hibiki Harmony was available in local liquor stores around me back maybe a couple of years ago, but it basically completely vanished on the shelves here as well as across the world, and it just came back into stock in the local liquor store. So I picked up a bottle just because I had to see what all the hype was about with the soaring popularity of Japanese whiskeys. A little bit more about this bottle. This one was 140 Canadian dollars, so quite expensive, but as we'll see, it's probably worth it if you're a whiskey connoisseur or you really enjoy whiskeys. Looking at the packaging, really stunning box that this comes in, really elegant design, this kind of off-white aged paper look to it, really nice with a little Hibiki Japanese character on the front here. It's Hibiki Harmony, which this is made up of 5 different whiskeys that they've combined into this blend. So they've included malt whiskeys from the Hakushu and Yamazaki distilleries, as well as grain whiskeys from Chita. So they have a bunch of different types of whiskey in here. As well, they have different barrels that they've all come from. So they have white American oak, they have Mizunara oak casks from Japan, and they also have sherry casks. So quite a broad kind of blend of different styles of whiskey in here, and it comes together quite nicely. It was all created by the master distiller and his team, Shingo Tori. Anyways, let's open this up and take a look at the bottle, because the bottle is even more stunning. Looking at the bottle, you'd think that this was an even more expensive whiskey than it already is. Really a very elegant and unique design. Instead of a tall, slender bottle, they've gone with this kind of more stout bottle with these interesting edge to it, kind of diamond cut edges all the way around. Really stunning. Again, just the same as on the box, they have this kind of aged off-white paper with the Hibiki symbol on the front here, Hibiki Harmony written on the front. Really simple and elegant, really stunning as well. And this beautiful cap on top with the cork that just matches the bottle shape as well. And then you can see embossed into the top here, they have the Hibiki symbol again on the top. Really, really nice. Overall, stunning packaging. Definitely the nicest bottle and most unique bottle I've ever bought of whiskey. I've tried the Suntory Toki as well, and I'll kind of compare that to this one later on. Anyways, now that we've gone over the packaging and the history, let's see some tasting and nosing notes of the Hibiki Harmony. So the Hibiki Harmony is a 43% alcohol by volume, so a little bit higher than your typical alcohol by volume whiskey of around 40%, but certainly not as high as some maybe cask strength whiskeys. And that might have to do with the shortages of Japanese whiskey. They might be proofing it down more than they otherwise would, but maybe this is the best proof that they found in terms of taste. But let's see. On the nose, you get this really nice kind of sour apple note on the nose as well. Just this layer of honey. It's almost like you've taken an apple and kind of dipped it in honey. It's such a nice sweet sour mix there. You do get a little bit of a wood note, a little wood spice as well on the nose. Now let's see, how does it taste? Wow, absolutely stunning. It has this amazing smooth buttery flavor to it, just super smooth on the front end, and then it kind of kicks at the end with a little woody oaky kind of spice note right at the end. Really delicious. And in terms of flavor, on the nose it's kind of appley smelling, but on the taste it has more of a kind of green grapes taste to it, a little sourness to it on the taste, and then just a really nice, again, kind of honey sweetness. Really smooth, not too kind of aggressive like some scotches you might have out there, some peated scotches, but this does actually have some peated whiskey in it apparently. But overall, just a really nice, smooth, but also very complex tasting whiskey out there. It's no wonder that this Japanese whiskey is so popular, because it really is absolutely delicious and super unique. It's not like any other whiskey out there. It has its own flavor profile to it, and I think that Shinjiro Tori has done an incredible job with kind of creating this distinct whiskey culture in Japan. Really incredible whiskey. So I hope you enjoyed my review of this Hibiki Harmony. If you can get a hold of it and you are a fan of whiskey, then I would definitely shell out for a bottle of this, just so you can show off to all your whiskey enthusiast friends that you have this rare bottle of Japanese whiskey. But it is also just extremely delicious whiskey overall. Highly recommend. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my review of Hibiki Harmony Japanese whiskey for this week. Please like and subscribe, comment down below which waters or foods or whiskeys you'd like to see me review in the future, which foods you'd like me to cook in the future on a future cooking video, and I will see you next week for another video. Thank you.